is. What I focus on multiplies. Has anybody ever had a problem in life? And I think we got some affirmative hand raising. So the next question then is, what did you do with that problem in terms of in the immediate? Did you stew on it? Did you think about it? Did you worry and let it fester in your mind? Gosh, again, I'm like the only one, huh? And of course, that solved it, right? All that worrying and fretting. No, I think that probably just gave you an upset stomach. And in the end, all that worrying about it didn't do you any good, because what we focus on multiplies. And we know as New Thought students, that is a large part of what we learn is that our minds, our thoughts create the world that we live in, and that's our reality. So it stands to perfect reason that if you have a problem or you have a challenge or some negative issue in your life, and that's all that you focus on, it's going to multiply and multiply and multiply. It's going to have that snowball effect. Whereas if we focus only on the good and the positive, that part will grow and grow and grow and multiply. So that's why I was saying the song that Chrissy sang, and we didn't even coordinate that, was so perfect. When you have a big problem, a big challenge, just let it be. Let it be. Don't focus on it, because all that's going to do is multiply it and upset your stomach. And because you're giving all your energy to this bad negative thing, it's going to keep growing and growing and growing. And the reality is, as much as we think that by stewing over something and worrying about it, that's going to let our mind find a solution to it, it really never does. Because I don't know of anybody who's ever really focused and worried about a situation and then found the solution. Because it usually comes during that quiet time when you do let it go out of your mind and you're doing something else, or you're about to fall asleep and maybe a solution does come to you when you're not focusing on it, when you're not letting it multiply, because you're not focusing on the negative and you're not allowing it to multiply. I think that a lot of you have heard this story, but it always seems appropriate in these situations when we talk about these things that multiply when we focus on them. Many years ago, when there used to be counselors in the fellowship, Pastor Mike had the opportunity to meet with a woman who came, and she was very, very distraught about the separation with her husband. And so she spent the first, 20 minutes, there were, tears and anxiety, and she was talking about the challenges of this breakup. And then when she was asked how long it had been, she said, well, it was about 20 years ago. And so, of course, then you have to stand back and wonder, this is where you need to stop focusing on this, because your troubles are just going to keep multiplying. And certainly, 20 years of focusing on a bad breakup is not going to make the situation any better. I think after 20 years, or even sometimes, 20 days is enough. You got to let it go and let it be, and focus only on the positive. So as you're going through your week and you're going through your challenges of the week, our question that you would ask yourself is, do I dwell on my challenges or on my happiness? Because as New Thought students, that's part of our basic understanding of the laws of attraction in the universe, that if we dwell on our happiness, it will grow and multiply. If we dwell on all the positive things in the world, then of course they grow and they multiply. Whereas if we dwell on our challenges, they continue to challenge us and they continue to grow and become even more challenging. So when you go through the week, when you wake up Monday, think of only the wonderful positive things. Of course, here in Southern California, we're so blessed with this beautiful, beautiful weather. So if perhaps you're in a traffic jam, think, well, I'm so fortunate I get to have all this time looking at the scenery. Whereas if I was in a place with no traffic, I'd just whiz to work and I wouldn't get to enjoy this. So in every challenge, there's a happiness, there's a positive spin that you can put on it and focus on that, rather than letting you be focused and drained with all the challenges of life. So focus on your happiness, because what we focus on multiplies. What we focus on multiplies. And the good news is that according to the law of increase, what I focus on multiplies. And knowing this, I refrain from dwelling on my challenges and my struggles. I choose instead to center my thoughts on what brings me happiness. My friends and family, my beloved pets, my satisfying work and interests, the beauty of nature, and so much more. As I appreciate the blessings in my life, they multiply abundantly. And that's a key phrase. As we appreciate and focus on the blessings in our lives, they multiply abundantly. So I joyously and continuously give thanks for my ever-increasing good and stand in awe of the activity of God. As I dwell in the energy of gratitude, its radiance expands within me, blessing not only myself, but also all those around me. So as you go through the week, again, remember what I focus on multiplies. So focus on the good, focus on the blessings. If some challenging situation comes along, just let it be. Push it to the side, let it be. Focus on the good. Find that little bit of silver lining to every cloud, and let that be what expands and grows in your life and your mind and brings you great happiness and joy, so that you aren't challenged and mired down and having ulcers, and then we have to come visit you in the hospital, and it's just a mess. So avoid all that and focus on your happiness and what brings you happiness. And that's a great thing. That was something I wanted to expand on and talk about too, is really, even in the darkest thing, everybody has something that brings them great happiness. If it's a pet or your gardening or your grandchildren, even in the darkest of places, let your attention focus on that. Focus on what brings you happiness and let that expand, because what we focus on multiplies.